It really starts out talking about the menorah, and this section is the menorah, the light of the world. And we know who the light of the world is, right? So if we look at that whole concept of the menorah and making the menorah and the lights is a very interesting, there's just a lot of parallels there. Matthew 5:14, Yeshua tells us, he says, you are the light of the world, okay? That by itself is a challenge. So if we're the light of the world, okay, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do with it? That requires some action. If we know that we're the light of the world, then we have to step into it. So it's a challenge because he is light and we shine in darkness. We are light because it shines through us, right? It's him shining through us. It goes on to talk about Yeshua. It says, in him was life and the light of men. So that picture of the light coming through us, it's powerful. When light shines in the darkness, John 1:5, it says light shines in the darkness and the darkness cannot overcome it. There's a lot of translations there like comprehends it not. If you look at the Greek that's behind that, it actually means when your light shines and you encounter darkness, this spiritual stuff here, it cannot overcome you. Okay, there's a very powerful statement there. It frustrates me when I see some of the translations water it down. So really, what it's saying is that there's no fear in it. Okay, so the power in you, the light in you, which is a picture of the power of Messiah in you, destroys darkness. That's what he's trying to say. It actually says it's like it destroys. It can't overcome this. Okay, so there's no fear in shining light into a dark world. We go out and we're like all timid and like, oh, I don't know if I... Get over it. You're the light. Go in there and, turn on the lights. Run some roaches out, That's what happens, right? When you turn the light on in a dark place, the bugs start scrambling, okay? So it's really the power, the light in us that we're supposed to be sharing and shining in the world is the power of the Creator to overcome darkness. Not only in us, but in the world. That's what he's saying, in the world. You're not just the light of you in your prayer closet. You are the light of the world. Get out there and shine, amen? Yeah. All right. So he came to give us life. I mean, and so life is not about, doing away with the instructions, which is a source of blessings, right? He said, don't even think that. Don't think I came to do that. Didn't come to do that. He came to give life. I didn't come to make them void, but to make them full, okay? And so that's the whole idea. He came to make them more about life, give them more fullness, okay? The same word that's used there, the Greek word full, it's usually translated fulfill. Some translations full. But it's interesting, that same word, just a couple chapters later, is used to represent a net full of fish. Okay, same word. So, the noon, the Hebrew letter that represents fish, is the same letter that represents life. So a net full of fish is a picture of life. And that's the word that he uses here to describe that. So it represents life. It represents fullness of life. So the Torah is full of life, right? Because over and over it says that if you do this, you will have life by it. Okay, that's what it means. You will have life by it. It's the source of life. So when we walk in that light of truth, we become light to the dark world, right? Yes. So what then? We just hide our lamp? No, we don't put it under it says a bushel. That's the word there is a ancient Hebraic. It's a pot. It's a clay pot, really is what it is. So you wouldn't light your lamp like, okay, let's put some light in this room and let's set this big measuring pot over the top of it. We wouldn't do that, would we? Okay, so but we put it on and the stand there behind this. I'm just giving you some culture. That's not like a stand. This is really not talking. It's talking about a place on the wall. And it's interesting. They would have a place on the wall, and usually behind that a piece of polished copper. Okay, and so when you set it there, it says it lights up the whole house. Okay, so it gives light to everybody in the house. Okay, so it reflects back. So that's a picture of our light reflecting into the world. Messiah is the light. Okay. And so we shine in that, and there, of course, darkness flees from that. So he tells us here, he says, so let your light shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify you. No, it's not about us. It's never been about us. What would we know about good works if it wasn't for Father's instruction? We wouldn't know what to do, because our idea of what's good and what's not good is usually pretty messed up. But the Father's idea of what's good is awesome. Okay, so if we do that, if we present that in the world, they will say, you know what, that's God working through that person. That's God working through that. And so he works through us. It comes from our heart. And so at that point, it's not us that people see. If people are seeing us, if they're seeing our flesh, then we have to shift gears and get where they're seeing Father, okay? And they see him through Yeshua living in us. And that's how we have a picture of it. And that's really pretty. That's pretty cool when you think about it, that we're able to do that, to manifest light in a dark world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. What is a city? A city is a group of people. It could be a group of believers sharing and shining their light together, right? Yeshua is the light. He says, I am the light of the world. He who follows me, so these are followers of this pictures, he who follows me will not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So when we get together, a group of believers shining together, an assembly, a congregation, it's like we're on top of a hill. And if you were actually located, if you were a group of believers who followed the light of the Torah, and you just actually happen to be on top of the only hill in the county, just saying, think about it. I don't care which direction you come from, just saying, okay? Then we're called to destroy the darkness around us. Now, he could have put us anywhere. He could have put us 8 miles down the road. I was digging my heels in trying to buy that place. He said, no, right here on the top of the hill with the blue roof, okay? It's where it can be seen, where it's light, not off on a side road somewhere.
That's right.
So it's not about us. It's about what he's doing. It's about what he's doing with us. Okay, so the light is not us. So the question is, do we want to be the light of the world? Yeah, do we? What's the picture? Well, there's a bright little face that's like shining. So the whole idea is that we let his light shine through us, and then we become a light. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. So let's let his light shine through us, and maybe we'll be as glowing as that. Amen?